Welcome to the Portable Classroom Maximize Your Potential program. In this video, we are going to compare two tenses, the past tense and the future tense. Now, without further ado, let's begin. Before we move forward, study these two following examples. Joseph, dinner for his family yesterday, and Joseph, dinner for his family tomorrow. Now we are going to change the verbs to fit the tenses of these two different sentences. The first thing we do, we look for the time markers. For the first sentence, the time marker is yesterday. For the second one, the time marker is tomorrow. So the first sentence should be written in the past tense, and the past tense of the word cook is cooked with ed at the end. So the correct answer would be Joseph cooked dinner for his family yesterday. As for the second one, tomorrow is a time marker that we use with the future tense. So the answer for this is will cook. So number 2 should be Joseph will cook dinner for his family tomorrow. Have you noticed something? The only two things that we change in these two sentences are the time markers, yesterday, tomorrow, and the verbs cook and will cook, which means these are the only two differences between these two tenses. In fact, they are pretty much the only differences in between all the tenses. So, first, we are going to compare the time markers for these two different tenses, the past tense and the future tense. Let's talk about the time markers for both tenses. First, let's take a look at the timeline. Everything before now is the past, and everything after now is the future. So as you can see, past and future are two opposite ideas. And so are the time markers. The time markers of the past tense are opposite to the time markers of the future tense. So say, for example, there are 3 key words that we use with the time markers of the past. The 3 key words are yesterday, this is the first one, and then last, that's the second one, and ago. These are the 3 key words that we use in the time markers of the past. Now, the opposite of yesterday is tomorrow. And the opposite of last is next. And the opposite of ago is later. So, later. So, as you can see, these time markers are opposite. Yesterday versus tomorrow, last versus next, ago versus later. Let's talk about how to use these keywords. Yesterday is usually followed by time markers such as these. We say yesterday morning, yesterday evening, yesterday afternoon, etc. Now, these time markers are time periods within one day: morning, evening, afternoon. Last is followed by a lot of different kinds of time markers, such as last week, last year, last month, or last summer. It's important that we have to mention that night is a very special one. We use night with last, so it's last night instead of yesterday night. As for ago, we use ago like this: 1 minute ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 months ago. So a number followed by a time quantifier and ago. So 1 month ago, 2 months ago, 3 years ago, or 7 seconds ago. This is how we use ago. And since these ones are the opposites of these ones over here, we use them in the same way. So tomorrow is also followed by morning, evening, or afternoon, and even night. So it's tomorrow night, not next night. This is very special. As for next, we use next the same way we used last. So next week, next year, next month, next summer. Later, the same way we use when it's ago. So it's 1 minute later. And then 2 years later. Or even 3 months later. So as you can see, the three keywords are the opposite to one another: yesterday, tomorrow, last, next, ago, and later. They are used in similar ways, almost identical ways, except for one thing: night. In the past tense, it's last night. In the future tense, it's tomorrow night. But there are some other time markers that we use with these two different tenses. For the past tense, today is often used in the past tense. So is this morning. As for the future, soon is often found in the future tense, and there are others too. So this is a comparison of the time markers of two different tenses. So let's take a look at some of the examples. Example number 1. Peter rode his bike at the park yesterday. Remember, we talked about the time marker. This is one of the key words that we use with the past tense. So if I change this to tomorrow, and I have to change the verb because now it's no longer a sentence of the past tense. It's a sentence of the future tense. So the verb must be changed. Change it to will ride. So this example brings us to our next topic, the form of verbs. So we're going to talk about forms of verbs for the past tense and the future tense. There are two different kinds of verbs in the past tense, and there are three different expressions for the future tense. So first, let's talk about the verbs for the past tense. The two different kinds of verbs are regular verbs and irregular verbs. Regular verbs are verbs such as cook. This is a base verb. The past tense of cook is cooked. And like play, this is the base verb. The past tense of play is played. As you can see that regular verbs follow a set of rules. We'd put EA at the end of verbs. As for irregular verbs, we're talking about verbs such as these: go, went, come, came, buy, bought. These are irregular ones. They are sometimes completely different, sometimes exactly the same, such as hit, the past tense, hit. So these are irregular verbs. So these are the two kinds of verb in the past tense: regular and irregular. Now the three different expressions in the future tense are, for the future tense, we use will with a base verb, or is, am, or are going to with the base verb, or even is, am, are with the ing. So these are the three expressions. I'm going to talk about them individually. Now, when do we use will with the base verb? Take a look at this example. I will probably watch TV tonight. I will probably watch TV tonight. I'm not very sure when I say I will probably watch TV tonight. It's maybe or maybe not, because I do not have a special plan for tonight. So we use will with the base verb for things that we do not have plans for. So no plan. We use will. As for be going to, is MR going to do something? Look at this example. May and I are going to visit our grandparents this weekend. May and I are going to visit our grandparents this weekend. When I say we are going to do something, it means that we have a plan and we're pretty sure what we're going to do this weekend. So the differences between these two different ways, different expression of the future tense, is when I use will, no plan. When I use be going to, is MR going to do something, means I have a plan for what I'm going to do. As for the last one, is MR with VING is exactly the same. It's the same way that we use the present continuous tense. Study the following example. I am going to the USA next month. Here involves a very special verb, and the verb is go. When the verbs are words like go, come, or visit, indicating that you're going from one place to another place, or coming back from one place to another place, you can use this, is MR with VING, the same way that we use present continuous tense to talk about something with the future meaning. So in this example, if the verbs, when the verbs are go, come, visit, or verbs of this kind, we can use present continuous tense to express future meanings. Or, when I say it like this, I am playing basketball with you tomorrow. It means I'm absolutely certain about it. I'm very certain, so I use the present continuous tense to express something that I will definitely do tomorrow. So these are the three expressions of the future tense. The first one is will with the base verb. The second one is MR going to with the base verb. And the third one is this. Use the present continuous tense to express something in the future. So let's take a look at some of the exercises. Exercises number 1. I basketball with my friends yesterday. Again, take a look at the time marker. Yesterday, past tense. Play is a regular verb, so the past tense of play is played. So I played basketball with my friends yesterday. Again, if I change the time marker from yesterday to its opposite tomorrow, then I will say I will play basketball with my friends tomorrow. If I have no plan, if I have a plan, I am going to play basketball with my friends tomorrow. If I'm absolutely certain about that, I'm playing basketball with my friends tomorrow. Number 2, May and Kathy to school together this morning. Again, time marker, this morning, it's a time marker that we usually use with the past tense. So, the past tense of go is an irregular verb, it's went. So May and Kathy went to school together this morning. Again, if I change the time marker from this morning to tomorrow morning, then this will be will go, is going to go, or are going to go, or are going. Because go is a very special word, we can use the present continuous tense to express something in the future in this case. Example number 3, tomorrow. That's the future tense. So the answer is he will play basketball with his friend tomorrow. So that's one possible answer. You can also say he is going to play basketball with his friend tomorrow, or he is playing basketball with his friend tomorrow, depending on how sure, how positive you are. So these are the three possible answers. As for the next one, same to America 3 months later. Again, 3 months later, a future tense time marker. So the possible answers are a lot. You can say Sam will go to America 3 months later. But usually when we talk about go to America for 3 months, we have a plan. So it's better to say Sam is going to go to America 3 months later. Or better, go is a special word, remember? So we say Sam is going to America 3 months later. As for the last one, let's take this one out. So this is the end of the exercise. Now remember, past tense and future tense, and for all the tenses, the two things that we change are the time markers and the verbs. So we need to pay attention to these small things. What time markers goes with which tense, and what's the form of verb of that specific tense. So for more information, please visit www.theportableclassroom.blogspot.tw. Again, thank you for watching this.